watching and listening to Breakfast with Stephen and Dawn. Let's go through the papers this morning with broadcasters extraordinaire Liz Kershaw and David Hamilton. Good morning.
Morning.
David, let's start with this piece in the Mail on Sunday about men not being able to compliment women. Because I can imagine you've been a charmer and a gentleman in your time.
I've done my best.
Yes.
Not always with success, of course,
Well,
but,
no.
you know, done the best I could. This is Sarah Vine in the Daily Mail, who is saying that if a male colleague told me that the dress that I was wearing, he liked it and was complimentary about it, I would be delighted. She said, I might think it was a little bit fruity, but what's wrong with that? Telling a woman she looks nice in a dress is now such a sin, it can lead to men being cancelled. For example, the chair of Tesco and also Barrett Holmes. These are people who have been cancelled because they committed the terrible sin of complimenting a woman about what she's wearing.
But that can't, because I say to people all the time, well, you look lovely, especially when the ladies that you work with, oh, you look lovely today.
Yeah.
Is that all they're saying, and it's getting them into trouble?
Well, that's all it needs. I mean, it's got really silly, hasn't it? Because men are so worried about this.
You said, I'll come on that in a second, or rhetoric in a turn up. But I think people have, for many years now, got sexism and sexiness confused. Somebody sent me a message the other day. I had a full-page article in the Daily Telegraph, and there I was in one of my mini-skirts, and he said, I know him very well.
I saw that picture. You look lovely.
Thank you. Yeah. He said, do you mind me saying that you look very leggy and sexy in the Daily Telegraph today? And I went, do I mind? Why would I mind?
Yeah.
You know, that's a compliment to say you look attractive.
Yeah.
And you're easy on the eye, and it's a nice thing to look at. It's not saying you sleep with me and I'll give you a job, which is topical, which is a different kind of thing. One is sexy or sexual, and one is sexist. If we weren't flattering to each other and sexy, the world, the human race would die out. And I was saying to a friend the other day, there are now men who are so terrified of telling you that they like you or paying you a compliment. It's quite sad, really.
It is sad.
Yeah.
It's in the workplace that we're talking about, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but even so, you can say, you know, women compliment you in the workplace on what you're wearing, don't they, Dawn?
The first thing I say to Stephen, well, not quite the first thing, but, you know, look really lovely.
And by the way, in the past, that's how most people met in the workplace.
Well, exactly.
It wasn't through the kind of dating that they get nowadays.
No.
I think sometimes men feel they can't do anything right these days. Whatever we do, we're wrong.
Well, yes. Well, that's what Mrs. H says, to be fair.
Oh, you've heard.
I think it's terrifying for, especially young men, must be terrifying to know what you're allowed to say, how you're going to get in trouble, how to let your feelings be known.
Yeah, it's very different. It's very difficult.
And older men are now older men who had gone up to you at one point and gone, whoa, you look fit in that. And now, do you mind if I mention that?
Yeah, but well, it's getting the balance right, I guess. Liz, let's have a look at Tina Turner, should we, in the Sunday Mirror?
Well, there's my kind of girl. The story today, of course, she died in the last week or so. And the latest is that there's going to be a Tina Turner museum, which is very appropriate. And this is a partner and more latterly husband of 10 years, a toy boy, who's going to turn their multi-million-pound mansion on Lake Zurich into a museum with all her clothes and memorabilia. I think that'll be a real draw for
lovely idea.
people.
Oh, yeah.
And a real, you know, really good memorial. Probably too sad, isn't it? Every room would. It's like that Four Top song, 7 rooms of glue. You'd probably. I don't know. But anyway, I think that's a fitting tribute.
I think it's a lovely idea.
But on the subject of sexy and sexist.
All right.
Yeah. And you weren't being sexist, you my mate, but you did say rather prissy last time I was here. Oh, I've never seen you in a skirt that touched your knees. Anyway, today I'm wearing an ankle-length skirt, everybody, to please Stephen, but not really. What Tina Turner? I love Tina Turner.
I've seen you in a bikini.
Yeah.
You know, nothing shocks me anymore, Liz.
Well, Tina Turner was I was a big fan of hers with her 60s stuff with I Can Tina Turner. River Deep Mountain High was my karaoke piece, top term, and all the other stuff, Nutbush Sister. But she made a comeback in 1983. Suddenly, she came back and she was there in a black leather miniskirt and fishnet tights and her hair all spiked. We all had our hair razor cut and loads of foam in it to be like Tina Turner. She had that huge album with Private Dancer on it. And I was 22 or 3 and I just looked at her and I thought, wow, it's okay for a 45-year-old woman to wear flattering clothes that shows off her body, and if you've got the legs, you can. And that stuck with me for life. I think she did great things to change. You know, but my grandma would have been wearing sensible shoes and a long skirt and a nice short perm. I think Tina Turner did a lot to make being an older woman.
I'll tell you what shocked me about her. Apparently she'd been ill for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But what shocked me was that she seemed to be indestructible. Yeah. And she'd had this terrible life, I mean, an awful life, with, particularly, you know, with Ike. Yeah, dreadful. And she re-emerged again as such a powerful performer.
Yeah.
I wish that did you meet her? Liz?
Yeah, I interviewed her at, for my Radio 1 show.
Yeah.
I had to go to her dressing room at Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
And I was and that was, you know, having bought her album, her comeback album 5 years earlier. She was such an icon and presence.
Yeah.
There's an article in the paper, one of the papers today, saying that Mick Jagger and David Bowie both said she was the only woman who could handle them, the only woman who was tough enough. When I say handle them, I mean, you know...
Literally handle them, I think, actually.
Well,
well, there was a story, wasn't
deal
there?
with them.
The story
Deal
was
with them,
at Live Aid, there's a photo of it in that article you're talking about today, the sexual tension between her and Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
And there is the story that they did go off and liaise dangerously backstage between performances.
Apparently once. The story was
quickly,
known as a one-night stand. But I think he taught her to dance, that's what she said.
Yes.
And that's why she danced so well on stage. No, sorry, the other way around.
She taught
him how to dance, Yeah,
she was a private dancer.
Oh.
There you go. It's been good to see you both this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Now,